Hey you guys, good morning. Okay, this is a letter related to Britney Spears and the conservatorships that are going on in America. And then I found something really interesting in probate court. I'm going to show it to you. So let's read the letter. The House Committee on Judiciary is charged with safeguarding the rights afforded to Americans by the U.S. Constitution. These rights include having the free will to guide one's own affairs and the legal autonomy over one's finances. When situations suggest the unjust deprivation of those rights by the government, we have an obligation to conduct oversight and explore potential remedies. In recent years, there has been growing public concern about the use of conservatorships to effectively deprive individuals of personal freedoms at the behest of others through the manipulation of the courts. A project funded by the U.S. Department of Justice to examine conservator exploitation found that financial exploitation by conservator often goes unchecked by courts, and there is a dire need for guardianship conservatorship reform. Moreover, the American Civil Liberties Union recently voiced that conservatorship should be viewed with skepticism and used as a last resort, but that in most cases it's done routinely and without substantive engagement. The ACLU is concerned that individuals are being stripped of virtually all their civil rights through guardianships. That's right. And conservatorships and trusts. Remember, don't forget the Love Trust, managed by Major League Baseball and the Douglas Trust. They're held in other countries, so that the trust says, and they forge people's names all the time, and they pretend the person's a kid, so you can't find it's hidden in juvenile court. Individuals are being stripped of virtually all their civil rights, and has called for the exploration of reforms to ensure the unnecessary conservatorships can be terminated so these individuals may direct their own lives. I think after, using and abusing women the way the government does through these, like they set it up, right? And I found this website where there's the Z1 fugitive status. So what they do is they put a charge, a criminal charge, a felony charge under my mother's name or one of the DBA, AKA names they use for me, so that I can't get health care. And then what they do is you go in and you beg for help with your neck or whatever happened to you. And you beg for health care. And then they leave the room and look you up on a database. Now, because my mother works for Kaiser as a clinician, who is empowered to, study torture or whatever her role is, they would go and see that I have a certain flag on my chart. And I don't think they need to know all the names. I think they just put a Z1 flag or a U flag, which means you're being used in university research, I think. The most striking example, perhaps, is the case of multi-platinum performing artist Britney Spears. Since 2008, Ms. Spears has been under a court-ordered conservatorship. The facts and circumstances giving rise to this arrangement remain in dispute, but involve questionable motives and legal tactics by her father and now conservator, Jamie Spears. Now, I haven't looked up Jamie Spears, but I intend to. I intend to look him up. So we got Matt Getz. Ms. Spears is not alone. There are countless other Americans unjustly stripped of their freedoms by others with little recourse. All right. Now let me find this one. Okay. So this is a probate conservator calendar. Look, it's got Michael Douglas. Now remember, one of my last names that I was told is Douglas. The person who supposedly married me is using the name Stephen Douglas. I couldn't find him on I couldn't find who that is, but it's attached to my parents' address in San Diego. So that's kind of how I figured it out. So this says Tommy Lee Hinton. Now, I don't know who Tommy Lee Hinton is or who Michael Douglas is, but this is very suspicious. Department of Healthcare Services. So for the health of our nation, I want you to look at this pro PS, this number right here. So I have a document where they faked my death using a different name, and I just want you to know that this is odd. Department of Healthcare Services, TP. I don't know what TP is. So go down here, need final inventory and appraisal of the property, and this person is trying to sell the property. Now, the reason I think this could be my dad is because IAEA is that Hawaiian organization where they do research and hide it in Hawaii. No accounting or status report of administration. All right. Tommy Lee Hinton. Now remember, one of my names is Tammy Sue Neptune. Okay, so I'm going to look this up. You guys can look it up too, but I just wanted to show you. Okay, there's something much more. Now, if they're changing your name, this is weird. Office of Reagan Blood. It's weird. So this is pro PS, but like when you see it on some of the forms, it's stamped props. So look up this number, and you know, if you see anything that you like, I'm sure you could ask them for it. JTD, I don't know what that is. Juvenile, it could be juvenile detention. I don't know what it is. But I do know, I was looking somebody up yesterday, you know, somebody who was injured in these clinics. And on her background check, it said juvenile. It kept saying juvenile, like she was in some kind of juvenile detention. But on the form itself, it said she was, you know, a normal age, you know, an adult woman. So this shows some money involved. This is $266,000. So what they do is they use you as a slave and hide it in juvenile court. Now let me go. There's a pretty interesting one. Again, petition for letters of administration with full authority under IAEA. IAEA, again, is that research organization that's harming Americans by hiding, you know, faking deaths and signing your name. I mean, I don't know. You could find a lot, though. Let's see. Case number. And then they have other case numbers here. Special administrator is granted the following. The sole purpose of filing an adversary proceeding and prosecuting the same in the bankruptcy court. So what they do, again, is they're taking loans against you. And then they, you know, in my case, there were people that had infiltrated my life that were FBI agents or working for them or working for DARPA. Like when I went to do a recording, Focus Features owned one of the studios and DARPA owned the other studio. or the person working there worked for DARPA. So they try to get you to do something that's illegal. In my case, I was asked to do a cover song for Blondie, cover song, certain cover songs. And they said it wouldn't affect my earnings, but there's something about doing it without permission that is illegal, so they do it sort of that way, right? And I relied on, the Mike Chapman, who was the mastering agent, who's Australian, right? And I told you they hide this stuff in Australia a lot. So again, there's $1 million judgment in non-dischargeable dischargeable claim according to inventory and appraisal, right there. This is a number you could look up if you wanted to. And then, because they just keep, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. I mean, you got to look at the words, because they change the people's names a lot. That's not even the one I want to show you. Now, the person's comments are: need to clear deficiencies, set accounting status, any accounting needs to be filed. Okay, so they're putting a levy on a person in this. Judgment. Petition for will, full authority under IAEA, one of the most dangerous organizations in the world. So let's go down here. Determining that certain property, it's a person, held with Wells Fargo is property of the estate. Currently under review by legal research. Okay, I want to find the one. Hang on. This isn't even the one I want to show you, but one of my it's not a deed, but it's some document they filed that's counterfeit, signing my name. It says it's at 24 Scarlet Road. And this says Rhett. Okay, like Gone with the Wind, right? Due to the conservatee's medical status and the actions of son Rhett, the court appoints Attorney Rose as guardian ad litem. So there's an attorney appointed to this. So then they say petitioner requests bond at $1 million. And then special powers. Just look at this. Let me see the name up here. Petitioner is Valerie Ross. Okay, Betsy Ross. Just remember the name Ross. So basically they're saying petitioner seeks the power to sell their real property and or personal property, including conservatee's primary residence, and proceeds to be used for conservatee's care and personal needs. Look at this. Proposed conservator may take any and all necessary actions. That includes torture and rape, you guys. This is not okay. This line is not okay. To secure all assets or financial accounts through trickery, chicanery, satanic abuse. This is not okay. So petitioner seeks medical powers, and it says they indicate proposed conservatee has a capacity to give informed consent. However, petition filed on this date includes attachment which indicates proposed conservatee has a major neurocognitive disorder, because they cause it. They take out your brain tissue. However, amended petition filed does not indicate proposed conservatee has a major neurocognitive disorder. Court to inquire. If proposed conservatee has a major and the person never gets to go speak and say, look, I was raped, I was tortured, they didn't let me work, they used me as a financial instrument, put me on a Z1 fugitive status, so I wasn't able to work in America. I mean, that would make anyone crazy, right? But still, you can speak to the court, with language where they can see that you're not crazy. All right. So Sean Hickman, John Hickman is the guy that I sued. I subpoenaed him because he's the head of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. John Hickman works over at the VA, so I found him on some records and realized that he's the one that does the mental, it's called like behavior modification. Okay, again, they don't give you any money to, hi you guys, this is part 2. They steal all of your assets so you can't work. And they put you on an immigration list. I'm going to show you something, but I for some reason, I'm not finding it right now. Again, Sean Hickman works for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So I want you to know that what they do is they file a mental capacity declaration because they've taken all your organs. I mean, they're the ones doing it. And they do it through behavior modification. They say they have to behaviorally modify you or whatever. But look at this. Look at this. Petitioner requests limited conservatorship powers to consent or withhold consent to the marriage of or the entrance into a registered domestic partnership by the limited conservatee. Right to control, limited conservatee's right to control his or her own social and sexual contacts and relationships. You don't have, under this, they can literally hire somebody to have sex with you or rape you. You don't understand. The legal meaning of this document is very disturbing. So I just want you guys, when you read this, remember, we might read this, just on its face. But again, petitioner requests limited conservatorship powers under PRC, specifically the right to make decisions as to the conservatee's choice of residence, dwelling, access to all confidential papers, records, reports, documents, and information, including those in the possession of the regional center, to contract and make consent to all medical, dental, psychiatric, and psychological decisions for the conservatee. As a hate crime, you guys, they're doing this as a hate crime against good Americans. Look at the sexual consent. Come on. I mean, Britney Spears is not the only one, you guys. If she's not in control of her sexual determination and powers, what does that mean? You have to think about what that means. So this is on page 53. I found a really good one, though. And again, they just use all kinds of names and everybody gets to profit. Again, they're doing this to get control so they can get your bones and your organs. Again, sexual relationships, because they're telling people, avoid this person, you've stolen from them, avoid them. So the person becomes, alone. And on these background checks, like the ancestry.com, it'll have like lonesome. Somebody's name is lonesome in the, what they put you under as a name. I looked up that woman, Harmon, who is the chess player. She's an orphan, and that's in the Queen's Gambit. I looked up her on this site, and it looks like she's on there. She's on there. It's like right here, Betty Jo Harmon, female. It says this is her birth date, but remember they use this number 21 a lot. This is her death date. But then it says she's going by all of these names, right? This is... But she has a mother and father, so she's not an orphan. This person's not. But all right, let's go down. All right. This probate one. This says minor children. Okay, so what they do is they claim you're minor because those records get sealed. So you don't know what your name is. Remember that song, Fly Like a Bird, or I don't know where my home is. I don't know what my name is. I think those are the lyrics. So testamentary issued to blah, blah, blah. No, there's something else. I gotta find it, you guys. It has to do... I just wish I knew what JTD is. If anyone knows, please tell me. I don't know what that is. They remove trustee and then change ownership of you. You're being owned by a person. Got Maxwell right here. There's one about immigration law, and I just want to show it to you, but I'm having a hard time finding it. A lot of these at the bottom, it'll say, you know, court's discretion. Or it'll say, you know, remove line 1 and 2, which I never really understand why they're saying remove it. See, it says DOD, date of death. It's also Department of Defense. So Suzanne Hawkins, Sadie Hawkins dance. Let's see. Full IAEA. That's when they're holding you as a slave to do research on. Trusts and Motions, Forrester. I found Forrest in a lot of, you know, in the Ancestry.com, that comes up again and again. Conservatorships. So the trustees are getting paid, attorneys seeking, you know, look at all the money that's going from just one person being held in an illegal slavery system. And, you know, these false marriages, too, under the UN, I mean, they're saying it's enslavement. I mean, you're stealing a child. I have this really good one I want to show you, but I'm not finding it. Hang on. Okay, guys. I was looking and, oh, there's so many disturbing things. There's irrevocable trusts. One of these trusts, it's talking about Indian rights being served and children's rights being served. So what they're doing is they're enslaving children who come here. And let me show you how they're doing it. Superior Court of California, Honorable Tara Riley, guardianship of Harmon Lowy. I mean, this is a weird word, but Harmon was in the Queen's Gambit. That's how I started looking it up. Case number GAR PS2, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Issues and deficiencies. Father Pinder in the UK, Mother Camillesh Rani in Spain. Service by letters rogatory, or service by Spain Ministry of Affairs. Okay. Let's go down here. Here's what I wanted to show you. The following issues or deficiencies in the parties are noted. Petitioner Harman, minor, requests that the court issue an order finding that minor is eligible for special immigrant juvenile status under the Special Immigrant Juvenile Status Statute, SIJS, and all of this, right? Which provides in relevant part as follows. The term special immigrant means an immigrant who is present in the U.S., who has been declared dependent on a juvenile court located in the United States, or whom such a court has legally committed to or placed under the custody of an agency or department of a state, or an individual or entity appointed by the state or juvenile court located in the United States, and whose reunification with one or both of the immigrant's parents is not viable due to abuse, neglect, abandonment, or similar basis found under state law. But they're not saying that it's because of the person in charge of them that's doing this to them. For whom it has determined in administrative or judicial proceedings that it would not be in the alien's best interest to be returned to the alien or the parent's previous country of nationality or country, in whose case the Secretary of Homeland Security consents to the grant of special immigrant juvenile status. And what they do under special immigrant juvenile status is, as you grow up, they keep marrying you on paper to your own family or people in the FBI or whatever, and then pretend you, under, the name, another name, Lisa Cartwright, Lisa Pache, whatever, is your own child. You are your own child. So again, the specific findings required under the statutory scheme would be that the petitioner is an immigrant placed under the custody of an individual appointed by state court, probate, guardianship. That the petitioner's reunification with one or both parents is not viable due to abandonment. Abandonment of who? USC is organizing abandonment with the courts and with the people who are the guardians. It is not in the petitioner's best interest to be returned to his or home country. They're deciding. Once the above findings are made, petitioner may then begin the process with the Bureau of Citizenship and Immigration to obtain legal permanent resident status. But if they don't know, right? If they don't know, what they're doing is that they're stripping you of your name and your title, and then you are a non-person, and then they take out your organs, whatever they're doing, but you don't have legal rights. Do you understand? I just showed you that they're in charge of your sexual behavior too. That means they're hiring people to come and sexually exploit you. I mean, that is what it says. Minor, again, minor and major. Think of, what we talk about with the words. You have to look at all of the words very carefully. If anyone tells you they want a stable job, run. Say, I don't consent to your stable job. A stable is where you keep horses. And horses are being kept as slaves in this country that are actually people under this law. Says the person was abandoned. They always say this. Minor was abused, neglected, and threatened by minor's parents. Yes, by the guardians. The guardians are the ones that are doing this to the person. Minor was forced to move to the United States to avoid being attacked by this. Minor does not believe he can return to minor's mother for fear of being physically abused or killed. I mean, I don't know who makes this up, but they're doing this to people who actually want to know who their parents are.